news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majesty the Sultan exchanges cables of greetings with leaders of brotherly and friendly Arab and Islamic countries on the occasion of the new Hijri year. His Majesty the Sultan greets Dr. Masoud Pezeshkian on him winning the presidential elections of the Islamic Republic of Iran. And several are martyred and wounded in Israeli occupation forces attacks that targeted various areas in the Gaza Strip. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. On the occasion of the new Hijri year, His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq exchanged cables of greetings and the best wishes with leaders of brotherly and friendly Arab and Islamic countries. In his cables, His Majesty the Sultan expressed his best greetings and sincere wishes to them for good health, happiness, and long life, praying to Allah the Almighty to return this blessed occasion on them with abundant health and contentment, and to make the new Hijri year full of blessings in which the entire Islamic nation will achieve glory and prosperity. In their cables, Their Majesties, Excellencies, and Highnesses, leaders of brotherly and friendly countries, expressed their best greetings and sincere wishes to His Majesty the Sultan for good health, happiness, and long life, praying to Allah the Almighty to return this blessed occasion on His Majesty for many years, fulfilling all the hopes and aspirations of His loyal people for more progress and prosperity, and for all Muslims with welfare. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency Dr. Masoud Pezeshkian, President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, on him winning the presidential elections. The Israeli occupation forces continue to launch airstrikes and artillery shellings on various areas in the Gaza Strip. Palestinian sources said 3 Palestinians were martyred and others were injured in an artillery shelling by the Israeli occupation that targeted the Al-Shaba area in Gaza City. Earlier, 12 Palestinians were martyred and dozens injured in raids launched by occupation aircraft on several areas in the Gaza Strip. The death toll from the Israeli aggression on the Gaza Strip rose to more than 38,011 martyrs, including children and women, according to health sources in the Gaza Strip. Lebanese Hezbollah announced that its forces launched missile attacks targeting military sites of the Israeli army in response to Israeli artillery shelling of various areas in southern Lebanon. From its part, the Israeli army launched artillery shelling with phosphorus shells targeting the city of Nabatiya and the Ain Zarqa area, resulting in the damage of many homes. The Palestinian resistance announced its approval of the American proposal to begin talks on the exchange of prisoners within 16 days, after implementing the first phase of the agreement, which aims to end the war on the Gaza Strip. The resistance reported that it would allow the prisoner exchange proposal to be implemented through internationally mediated negotiations during a first phase lasting 6 weeks. From its part, Israel said that the American proposal is an opportunity to reach an agreement that may lead to an end to the Israeli war on the Gaza Strip, indicating that the talks will continue during this week. The Iranian Ministry of Interior announced that the reformist candidate Masoud Pezeshkian is the new president of the Islamic Republic of Iran for a period of 4 years. Here is a report.
Reformist candidate Masoud Pezeshkian, a former health minister, has won the runoff presidential election in Iran, the country's election headquarters spokesman Mohsen Islami announced on Saturday. Pezeshkian secured 16,384,402 of the total 30,573,931 votes in the runoff, Islami said. The result will now be subject to approval by Iran's Guardian Council. Afterwards, Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei will issue a decree to the president-elect, who will then take the oath of the office before Parliament. Born in September 1954, Pezeshkian is a reformist politician who has an extensive background in medicine as a cardiac surgeon and held important positions including president of Medical Sciences University Tabriz and the country's health minister. He also served as a representative in the parliament for many terms. Iran's 14th presidential election, initially set for 2025, was moved up following the unexpected death of President Ibrahim Raisi, his auto rage in a helicopter crash on May 19th. Voters casted ballots on June 28 to choose their next president from among candidates Ali Riza Zakani, Mustafa Por Mohammadi, Masoud Pezeshkian, Saeed Jalili, Mohammed Baqir, Qali Baf, and Amir Husseini Ghazizadeh Hashimi. As no candidate achieved the required minimum threshold of 50% of the votes in the first round, the second round between two front runners, Pezeshkian and Jalili, was held on Friday.
Russian strikes overnight left over 100,000 households without power in northern Ukraine and cut off the water supply to a regional capital, Ukrainian authorities reported today. The northern Sumy region, which borders Russia, was plunged into dark after Russian strikes damaged energy infrastructure, the Ukrainian Energy Ministry said. Meanwhile, Russia said today that its forces had captured a village in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region as Moscow continues to advance slowly across the battlefield. Kyiv says the fiercest fighting across the entire front line is taking place in the Donetsk region. 5 persons have died and another 88 have sustained injuries after a tornado struck Dongming County of East China's Shandong province. Those who were injured have been sent to hospitals for treatment, and an investigation into the damage caused by the tornado is underway. The tornado also caused some buildings to collapse in a factory in Dongming, but fortunately workers were safe and sound. Meanwhile, local firefighters assisted in clearing trees blocking roads near the factory. According to the Provincial Emergency Management Department, a tornado occurred in Shandong's Yinan County with no casualties reported. Around 5,700 residents were relocated after waters breached a dike at China's second largest freshwater lake following heavy rainfall earlier this week. Footage aired by state broadcaster CCTV showed heavy machinery transporting sand and rocks to the site of the breach in Hunan province yesterday. Armed police and soldiers laid down tarpaulins along the embankment and also conducted a comprehensive search for trapped villagers. CCTV said the National Emergency Command Headquarters was monitoring the situation and waiting for the best opportunity to seal the breach, with plans to complete the closure within 6 to 7 days. Extreme weather conditions were also seen in Heze, Shandong province yesterday, with a 10-minute tornado seen passing through, resulting in 1 death and 79 injuries, according to CCTV. The exchange rate index for the Omani Rial rose at the end of last April by 3.9% to reach 118.4 points. Preliminary statistics issued by the National Center for Statistics and Information indicated that local liquidity in the Sultanate of Oman increased by about 2.5 billion Omani Rials to record more than 23.5 billion Omani Rials, with an increase by 12% compared to the same period last year. Total currency exports decreased by 4.6% to exceed 1.6 billion Omani Rials by the end of April, while the narrow money supply rose by 7%. The gross domestic product at current prices of the Sultanate of Oman increased by 0.8% by the end of the first quarter of this year to reach 10.4 billion Omani riyals compared to the same period last year. The National Center for Statistics and Information indicated that crude oil activities amounted to 2.9 billion Omani riyals, while non-oil activities increased by 3.9%, recording a value of 7.1 billion Omani riyals by the end of the first quarter of the current year. The market value of the Muscat Stock Exchange rose at the end of last week's trading to more than 24.3 billion Omani riyals, recording weekly gains of more than 108 million Omani riyals. The main index of the Muscat Stock Exchange rose by 173 points in the first half of this year. It closed at 4,687 points, benefiting from the good performance of public joint stock companies listed on the stock exchange, the rise in their net profits, and the improved performance of the national economy and credit rating of the Sultanate of Oman. The market value of the Muscat Stock Exchange recorded gains of 478,200,000 Omani riyals, exceeding 24 billion Omani riyals by the end of June. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty the Sultan exchanges cables of greetings with leaders of brotherly and friendly Arab and Islamic countries on the occasion of the new Hijri year. His Majesty the Sultan greets Dr. Masoud Pezeshkian on him winning the presidential elections of the Islamic Republic of Iran. And several are martyred and wounded in Israeli occupation forces attacks that targeted various areas in the Gaza Strip. With that, we come to the end of tonight's bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's a good night and we wish you a blessed new Hijri year.